What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Sports Resort. This is your home for all things sports. I'm your host, Gannon Cornley. Want to welcome you guys. This is episode number 43. We are right at a year. About this time last year, we were just getting things underway. So super excited. We are a year in now officially with the Sports Resort. Got my main man, Toby, here, my co-host. What's going on, dude?
Same old, another year, another podcast, I guess.
Yep.
Well, it's a year on the podcast for us. Montae and Connor approaching their half-year mark pretty soon, but
they're in mid-season form.
Exactly. We're winding it down. We're in the postseason stretch.
Yep.
They're week 7, week 8. Still believing the Cowboys have a chance. So,
as I'm wearing the Cowboys. I think I had an Emmitt Smith jersey way back when. I'm not gonna lie, but other than that, this is the first time. Keep in mind, this is my boy MG, number 13, with the stars. You already know. Cannot stand the Cowboys, but MG's my boy, and this is probably the first time that I can remember that I've ever worn a Cowboys jersey. This is the first time I've ever worn this jersey, actually. So right at our year mark. First time I'm wearing it. This is for UMG. That's my dog. Keep doing your thing. Normally I just keep this hanging up, but yeah, I actually put it on for our anniversary of the Sports Resort. So we are here real quick before we get into the show. For those of you listening, if you're listening to it via podcast, go on YouTube and subscribe and like the video, please. We need your support. We need the likes and the views on our YouTube page. If you're already watching it on our YouTube page, please just hit the subscribe button. It's free. Hit the like button. It's free. It'll go a long way. Really appreciate it. So before we continue, just do that real quick. If you don't have a YouTube account, make one. That takes 2 seconds. Subscribe to our channel, please, 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 and share across all your platforms. That really help us out. But without further ado, we'll get to the stuff that I know you guys want to listen to, which is us talk about sports, and we have a lot of it. Of course, diving into more in the NBA playoffs, as we just watched a thriller of a game between the Bucks and the Nets for Game 5. NHL is now on to their conference finals, and boy, it's already heating up. There's only been Game 1 so far on each side, and it's been intense there. Another quick MLB update. We'll let you know what's going on with our Kansas City Royals, as well as our other favorite teams going on there. And then, of course, another segment we introduced last week called Rapid Fire Takes, where we get you caught up on all little things sports around the globe. And we're actually going to talk about some soccer today. We got the Euros, the 2020 and 2021 Euros. We'll get you updated there, as every team now has played at least one game. So this is a perfect time to introduce that. So we get you all caught up with everything going around the world in the world of sports. But, of course, you guys know what we have to start it on. Our first segment titled, What Is You Doing? Highlighting some of the biggest idiots in the world of sports, people doing way too much and need to stop. I think I went first last week, so I'm going to let you go first, Toby.
All right, we've gotten upset with NBA fans lately. NBA teams last week with Connor and the Bucks. I'm going to go now to the writers who vote on all NBA teams. And for the most part, you've got the right guys. I mean, nobody disagrees with the first team selections. Nobody should disagree with the second team selections. In fact, I would argue 2 of the guys on second team could have very easily been first team. But there's so many great players in the NBA. How can you get upset about it? The third team, however, is missing some very, very notable players. I'll say Devin Booker, you know what he's doing, going off. Donovan Mitchell, you see the boy out in Utah. Jason Tatum, I mean, you're not watching him play right now, but you saw what he did. 50-point dub in the only win we had in the postseason. That's that guy. Russell Westbrook averaged 22, 11, and 11. Not on the teams. Who was on the teams? Nets guard Kyrie Irving who would go missing for weeks at a time. And it's not that he wasn't playing well. I get that he was playing well. But how? Man, he would just go on benders, just missing games, missing time. Donovan Mitchell's the best player on the best team. Didn't get the looks. Devin Booker, the team that had all the resurgence, they put their second best player on the team. Oh, by the way, the Jazz second best player on the All-NBA teams, not their best player, Donovan Mitchell, not the Suns' best player, Devin Booker. I mean, some pretty notable snubs. I would even argue, I think a lot of people wouldn't, but I would argue Jimmy Butler, probably not ahead of those other guys.
No.
Paul George, probably not ahead of those other guys. No. Bradley Beal, I have no problems with. He's doing his thing. It's good that he got his recognition. But, man, that third team, I look at them and then I look at the all-snub team, as I like to call them. I'd take the all-snubs all day. Oh, and to the fans, one more point. To the fans, they gave us a vote in MVP finally. We wanted this. We've wanted to have a say in who wins the awards because we all use these to argue over the internet. So when they give you a chance to vote, can we, actually vote? I get that everybody loves Derrick Rose, man, but, I mean, come on, man. I get it. He's a likable guy. He doesn't say or do anything. He just goes about his business. He's overcome adversity. He's a very likable guy. But if we were going to go all in on the Knicks, we couldn't get Julius Randle an MVP vote after the year that he had. They're about to take our rights away, our voting rights. No more voting for the fans. They're about to take all-star voting away, too. I mean, but we're the fans. You're the writers. You guys got to get it right. I think that third team needs a lot of reworking, if you ask me.
I would agree. Yeah. Donovan Mitchell not making it, they're the 1 seed in the West.
Right.
They're the best. He's the best player on the team with the best record in all the NBA and didn't make it all. That is egregious. That's so bad. I can't even begin to get in that. Unfortunately, for the NBA and our show, it does not stop there because we talked about the fans. We've gone on some players. We've gone on some NBA analysts. You've just got on the writers. I'm going at the refs. Screw the NBA refs. How dare you, after we voted and contributed to making Nikola Jokic the MVP, and you throw him out of the game on a terrible call. That is in no way, shape, or form was that a flagrant 2. Yes, he was frustrated. Yeah, he let out some anger. He got 95% ball. He may have scraped Cameron Payne's face, and that was worth a flagrant 1 and call it a day. That is pathetic. That they threw out the league MVP, well-deserved, and that gradually changed the course of the game. That ruined that. And now I think everyone and their mother knew. I mean, the Suns were already up 3-0, so the Suns were going to win that series. But I think Jokic still gives them a chance to extend the series, which gives us more basketball and more chance to view the MVP. He got kicked out in the third quarter. NBA refs, what is you doing? Because you guys don't know what the difference is between a flagrant, a technical, a flagrant 2. Some dude, LeBron in that play-in game against the Warriors got full-on smacked in the face, and that was a common foul. And then this dude swipes, gets 95% of the ball, and gets a flagrant 2. Unreal. That is unbelievable. That is just unbelievable that they really kicked out the league MVP for that.
I'd have to agree. I definitely don't think it was ejection worthy. I mean, frustration foul. This playoff basketball, man, guys are going to get frustrated. People are going to be upset. And even if he caught him, he really didn't catch him flush. It might have been different had he full-on smacked him in the face with that kind of wind-up. But I got to agree. I mean, you would have loved to seen him keep him out there. Would have loved to seen the Nuggets have a chance at the end in at least one of those games. But instead, you ruined Connor's prediction of which would be the most exciting series. Way to go, refs.
His most exciting series ended in a sweep.
I know I picked bad ones last time. One of mine ended in a sweep, but
mine was not looking very well. I said the Hawks and the 76ers had the Hawks not pulled it out the other day, and they just barely hung on. That was dangerous to go 3-1. That was very dangerous. So yeah, for this week, our what is you doing is an all NBA, and we kind of shamed everyone. We shamed the fans. I guess we didn't shame the players. We shamed the league, the writers, the refs, and the fans.
And Connor shamed Bucks players.
Yeah. Everybody get it together. Get it together. What is y'all doing? But I think we'll leave it at that for that segment for this week. And we'll actually get right into the NBA where we do talk about the players. And this is not going to go on my what is you doing, but I got some shaming to do on the player side now. So to get you guys full caught up, I'll dive into what I was about to say here in a minute. But to get you guys fully caught up since last week, like we just alluded to, the Phoenix Suns have obviously swept the Denver Nuggets, winning that series 4-0. The Suns have now won, I believe, 7 games in a row after they fell behind to the Lakers 2-1. They went on to win that series 4-2. And now they have swept the Denver Nuggets, obviously without Jamal Murray. Obviously they were shorthanded, but still, nonetheless, you have to give a lot of credit to the Suns there. The other series in the Western Conference, after a dominating performance by the Jazz in the first two, going up 2-0 in their series, the Los Angeles Clippers have now tied the series with a commanding win in Game 3 and then winning pretty handily, easily in Game 4 as well, tying that series up at 2 apiece. So now, all of a sudden, that series is deadlocked and looks like it could go 7. Over in the East, we have the 76ers and the Hawks tied at 2 apiece. Both teams have now stolen a game on the road. So that definitely looks like my prediction for most exciting series could hang on potentially. We'll see how Game 5 shapes up, as that game will be aired tomorrow. And, of course, the game we just watched right before getting on, the Brooklyn Nets hanging on to defeat the Milwaukee Bucks, going up 3-2 in their series. What we did not get to talk about was what happened in Game 4, where Kyrie Irving did get injured and obviously was not available for Game 5. Nonetheless, a big-time performance by Kevin Durant to knot up this series, or rather to take the lead in this series, going up 3-2 after a home game. So I have got... Now, what I was going to say, I have not been too big on hating on Giannis. You know, he has not shown up in the postseason like we would like him to be deemed a superstar, a back-to-back MVP of the league. But something's got to be said here. Now, he didn't have a bad game, but this is what is going in, dude. I don't know what to say. Down the stretch, I'm going to have to say it. Down the stretch, Giannis is not a superstar. He is not a superstar. Down the stretch in these games, he is a regular player. He is not a closer. He's a liability at the free throw line. Dropping the ball underneath the rim with a chance to tie the game. I mean, dude, he's more of a cancer. We saw, and now I know it's just one game, but we saw in that first game against the Heat in Game 1 when they went to overtime, liability on defense. He is just not good down the stretch in games. And for him to be a 2-time league MVP, winning Defensive Players of the Years, I'm just so disappointed. I mean, it's hard to be like yelling at a guy who just had a 34-12 game. But if your team looks like they almost thrive better without you on the court within the last, we'll say, 2 minutes of the game, I don't know what else to say, dude. Like, Drew Holiday is what started setting them up down the stretch. Middleton made a great play, and then Giannis drops the ball. PJ Tucker was playing as good defense as you really can on Kevin Durant. I mean, he was just having another day, like having a great day. And even then, he still forced a miss and gave him a chance to tie the game. And Giannis turned the ball over. I don't know, man. I after seeing this, and who knows? I mean, if they lose this next game at home, I'm sorry. Like Giannis, like the start of the season was in my top 5. I don't know anymore. He may be at my bottom tier of superstars in the league. This is just unacceptable.
Those are some pretty harsh words, but words that I've been saying for a while now. If you just watch the Bucks in the playoffs, I mean, I was saying it back when everybody was saying he's still young, give him time. I said the game just doesn't translate when you don't have, as the kids say now, when you don't have a bag and your move in the half court is to put your head down, drive, hope somebody slides in late so they get a blocking foul, and you throw up a layup that goes in. You can't make free throws. When that's the game plan, it's pretty hard to replicate. What's pretty easy to replicate, what Kevin Durant does, what Devin Booker does, what Donovan Mitchell does. They all can create their own shot. They score big buckets when needed. And when they're in a pinch, they can create for other guys. It's not all about them. But for Giannis, I don't think he's great with the ball in his hands. When you can't make free throws, when you can't make jump shots, it really shrinks the court. The Bucks would be best suited at the end of games, and I keep saying this, to give the ball to Middleton and let Middleton go to work. And even when Kevin Durant's guarding him, because that's what's so funny to me too, is the Nets aren't even putting the best guys on Giannis, because they say, go do what you do. And if you beat us going against Jeff Green and James Harden, then so be it. But we're going to use our best defender to guard Chris Middleton, because we know he's the guy that can create, score at the end of games. That's not an MVP in my opinion. And that's what I've been saying. And I'm going to continue to say it until he proves otherwise. Because, yeah, there's just something about playoff basketball when possessions get longer, the court shrinks, there's not the fast break scoring. You've got to find a way. And I don't think he's found the way. And as much as I enjoy talking about this series, it's so much fun. I want to talk about a few guys who do know how to play postseason basketball, because that Jazz and Clippers series right now, what did I tell y'all last week? Pretty fun, right? Pretty good stuff. Because it's either Donovan Mitchell going nuts for 40 and the Jazz winning, or you get all the Kawhi lights from the Clippers. Kawhi's dunking on dudes 4 inches taller than him, sending them back home to their mom's house. I mean, I'd be shocked if we see Derek Favors on the court in Game 5. Not because he doesn't deserve to be on the court because he's a bad player, but I just don't know if he's with us anymore after that dunk last night. So much fun this series. So much fun. And I think the most fun part about this series, too, is that we know exactly what we're going to get from Kawhi, and we know exactly what we're going to get from Mitchell every single night. Whereas in the Nets-Bucks series, you don't know what you'll get from Giannis, especially down the stretch. But you know what you'll get from the Nets superstars. So it kind of makes those games that are on edge feel like, well, this isn't going to go one of two ways. It's going to go one of one ways. The Nets are going to pull it out. But I love that this series comes down to what everybody else on the court does, because Kawhi's going to get his, Don's going to get his, and we're at 2-2, because I think these role players around the Jazz and Clippers are so evenly matched, even though the Clippers will tell you they have another superstar, which, I mean,
on that.
that's, you know, like that's cool. That's fine. Yeah. Playoff P.
Way
the
off.
Superstar. Hey, he's been playing better, but he's still got a stigma to break. But that's why I'm enamored with this series so much. The Jazz, for the better part of the entire first half yesterday, looked like they hadn't even touched a basketball in weeks. Looked rusty as hell. All of a sudden, you look up in the third quarter, they're hitting every three they take. It's so cool. You don't know what you're going to get from the other guys. And, you know, from game to game, oh, man, the most exciting postseason basketball series I think we're going to see the rest of the way is this Jazz Clippers series. I think it's going to go 7, and it's going to be one of those, like, instant classic series. a la the like Raptor 76ers that one year where Kawhi hit the buzzer beater. Now let's hope that doesn't happen this time. I don't think any of us here or listening are cheering for the Clippers. You can comment if you are, but I'll have some choice words for you. So let's hope Kawhi doesn't replicate that, but it has the feelings of a series that will end like that, and I'm here for it 100%.
Well, if the Jazz would just go ahead and win this in 6, that'd make me a very happy man. I prefer just to get this over with, and then I can rest easy the rest of the postseason. But until the Clippers are out, I cannot rest easy, since my team is already out. That team cannot advance. I cannot have this. I cannot have the fake Clipper fans who all came out as Clipper fans back in 2000 and what was that, 13, when Chris Paul and Blake Griffin all them got there. Because ain't nobody was a Clippers fan before then. So all of a sudden these people who come out of the woodworks, I don't need to hear that. So Jazz, you're back at home. Let's turn up. Let's do this. I need y'all, please, because I can't deal with this. But again, what I cannot deal with, and I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to, dude, I just cannot believe it. Let's be honest, man. That is just so bad. Going into this game, I knew it was going to be big for two people, Kevin Durant and Giannis, because I didn't think James Harden would play at all. He ended up playing today, but I thought James Harden would sit out and KD was going to be on his own. And I wanted to see, because this is what everybody is. When LeBron's teammates have been out, everyone said he's got to just go with it and deal with it. So I thought KD would be on his own. But, I mean, I'm not blaming him for Harden playing, but I thought he was going to be on his own, and I wanted to see how he would respond to the first time really in his entire career. He has to basically be the do-it-all guy. He's a guy who always could, but he never has had to. So tonight was the first time, I think, in his entire career where he had to have this type of night, be that type of guy. And going in, I didn't know if he had it, because we haven't seen him do it before. We're in a circumstance where he had to do it. So, and he 100% answered the bell with a 49-point triple-double. Missed a free throw at the end to get a 50-point triple-double. Come on, KD. Got to be better than that. But that's really the only mistake I think he made all night. Dropping 49 points. Had just an incredible day. I mean, what more can you ask from the man? 16 of 23 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3, 13 of 16 from the line. I mean, KD, have yourself a night, man. He really answered the bell. And, I mean, he's got to do it one more time, because they've dropped the last two in Milwaukee. So Milwaukee does get to go back home. But I just can't foresee a Game 7 where the Bucks pull it out in Brooklyn after what I just saw. So, but yeah, major props to KD. I've always been more of a defender of KD. I feel like, because a lot of people get on his head for the Warriors move, where I try to see a difference. So I feel like I always back KD up. But I was going to come on here and flame him had he not answered the bell tonight, and he 100% answered it. And Giannis, you are the what's the opposite of the GOAT? The WOAT. You were the worst player. The
worst of all time.
The worst of all time tonight.
Yeah. I'm
horrible.
Yeah, I got to go back to my what is you doing now. Completely forgot to mention Kevin Durant not on an all-NBA team, by the way. So take that for what it's worth. I want to stick in the East. One last thing, because everybody loves the Suns. We know what the Suns did to the Nuggets. I don't even feel like we really need to address that. The Suns were just better, top to bottom. But the 76ers Hawks being tied 2-2 feels weird, because I feel like the 76ers have been way better.
Yeah.
Embiid was horrible yesterday. And I think about it like this. There's two ways to think about this. Either A, you're saying, you know what? The Hawks have a very, very serious chance because of how well Capella defended Embiid yesterday. Or B, you're thinking a little bit more like I am right now. And you're thinking, wow, it took Embiid going 0 for 12 in the second half for the Hawks to win that game by 3 points. as Seth Curry got a pretty good shot off with a chance to tie it, send it to OT. So there's a couple different ways to look at it there. 76ers, they get 2 more home games, tied series. I want to know what your thoughts are, because right now I'm shocked that we're here where we're at right now. But I think that the entire series is going to hinge on Embiid. If Embiid scores, Sixers are tough to beat. If Embiid doesn't score, Sixers are hard to score. Hard to score for the Sixers.
I mean, so, I said it last week. This series is contingent on his health and or his play. So, I mean, if Embiid's out or if he's going 0 for 12, they're not going to win. And I know they barely lost, but that team is not built to win when he is not playing well. So it is literally all on him. It is down to one player. I think Trae Young can drop 50 the rest of the series, and it is completely contingent on what Joel Embiid is doing. So, yeah, I mean, it's all on his shoulders. He seems like he wants the pressure, but his body does not. He's never healthy. And they're still right now being in. The longer this series goes, believe it or not, I think it favors the Hawks because it gives them more chances for this dude to break down and play bad or play halfway. So the longer it goes, so the 76ers may win tomorrow since they're back at home. But as long as the Hawks take care of business back in their place in Game 6, I give them every bit of chance in Game 7, if that's what we're going to. So I think, like I said, it is 100% on how healthy and how well Embiid plays. And I mean, I'll be honest, I am kind of rooting for the Hawks because they're the underdog, and I kind of like their squad. So it would be kind of cool to see them edge it out. But yeah, I don't know. The 76ers they're in a tough spot, and the Hawks have already won in their place before, so that also does not help you going back home. Because in the opposing team's mind, we've already won here before. Why can't we do it again? So, yeah, that's tomorrow is must-watch basketball for sure. With the Hawks and 76ers and the Clippers and the Jazz. Definitely.
Oh yeah. Biggest night of the playoffs so far coming up tomorrow. 100%.
Yeah, 100% agree. So definitely tune into that. Another league that is in the postseason, and those games are heating up, like we alluded to earlier, is the Stanley Cup Playoffs. As now we are down to the Final Four, and on the East, or I guess, do they even have a name for sides? Really?
No, it's semifinals at this point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, weird setup this year.
Unfortunately, but what we have is on one side, on the right side of the bracket, you have the New York Islanders and going up against defending champs Tampa Bay Lightning. The Islanders, after an impressive game 1, have taken the lead 1-0 after their victory 2-1 on Sunday. But if I'm not mistaken, didn't the Lightning just win tonight?
Yes.
As we've been doing this podcast, I was like kind of keeping up with it. So as we're talking, the Lightning were able to knot up the series, so it actually is 1-1. So on that side, and then on the left side of the bracket, unfortunately, Montae's team is up 1-0 in their series as they are taking on the Canadians. I am actually rooting for Canada to bring it home this year. I know. But listen, I have my reasons, okay? For one, we already know Montae would be insanely obnoxious if the Knights win, so we can't have that. The Islanders are direct competitors with the Rangers, so that's just not happening. And then the Lightning won last year. So let's get some parity in the league. And a Canadian team hasn't won it in forever anyway. So with it being a weird year, I'm fine with them winning it. We'll go back to normal next year, and that's when America can continue to dominate. So I'm going for Montreal. Not looking good off rip as they got blown out in game 1. They lost 4-1. So they've got some work to do, but that's currently where we sit in the semifinals. Do you have anything that you've noticed or to add so far with the NHL?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to say who I'm cheering for because I've come on both rounds. I've said it, and the 4 teams that I said have all lost in that round. So I'm not going to say it now. However, the Lightning and Islanders, super fun. The Islanders are one of those teams that are just hard-nosed, gritty. They play you tough. They play a very playoff style of hockey. See, they're kind of the anti-Giannis of the NHL because their style suits the postseason. They're physical. They don't give you anything easy. On the other side, the Lightning, they were the team, besides the Avalanche, who are probably the most talented team all around in hockey. And however you're going to spin it, this is a team that has championship pedigree. A lot of their players returned this year. They all know what it takes to win in the postseason, and I don't think they're afraid of anybody. That's a great series. That series there, I think, is obviously going to be far more fun to watch than the Knights and Canadiens, and not just because I don't like either of those teams, which I don't, but just because the clash of styles there. The Canadiens pretty much rode this hot streak. They just got insanely hot. They were beating teams in overtime. They were stealing 1-goal wins away from teams that are perennial playoff chokers in order to get here. And now they're going to play against a team, the Knights, who have won in 2 fashions. They were more talented than the Wild, 1-7. They were the more flashy, better suited team, more talented. Then they actually played the more talented team. So then they had to play a tough, grinded out sort of style against the Avs to come back from a 2-0 hole and win that series. So the Knights, they can do it. They can do it all. Stylistically, they're very hard to match up with. They're talented. They're hard-nosed. They've got a coach who's used to coaching in the postseason. I wish he was still in San Jose. Maybe we wouldn't be where we're at right now. But he's used to postseason success. And I think the Canadiens are in certain trouble. Yeah. Their 7-game win streak snapped in fairly easy fashion. And if the Knights go up 2-0, I'm calling it right then and there. If the Knights win, because I don't believe Montreal's home ice is going to intimidate the Knights even a little bit. They're a great story. They're a great run. But they would need absolutely Herculean efforts from Carey Price for 4 games of the series in order to win the series. I do not see it happening. So the only prediction I feel safe in making is that we will have to listen to Montae talk about the Vegas Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup. And in all honesty, maybe a good thing. Maybe a good thing. We'll all be tuned in. We'll be hooked on it. Because, Montreal and New York and not Gannon's New York. Who wants to see that?
Yeah.
I would.
I can tell you what, though, if the Knights do go to the Stanley Cup Finals, what a insane last 3 years of sports for all of our teams. We had the Chiefs just won the Super Bowl just 2 years ago. Your boy Brady won it this year. My Lakers won last year. The Rays were in the World Series. The Knights would be in the Stanley Cup Finals. My goodness.
Yeah. Now all we're missing is Connor's teams.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna ride the wave of the Chiefs, but
we all are.
Maybe we are.
KC represent.
But at least KC had to beat also my favorite team to get to the Super Bowl. So my favorite team still was doing well en route to the Chiefs getting there. So Connor's riding this Chiefs wave, but he thinks he maybe has other people fooled, but he ain't fooling us. He's a Vikings fan. It's just they're not very good right now, and the Chiefs are probably the best they've ever been. So he can ride it. He don't even like Casey. He's a St. Louis boy. So that's what I find really interesting.
Yeah. Now his backup to the backup NHL team won the Stanley Cup.
We're not doing that. We're not doing no backups to the backup. You have one team, maybe a secondary that you root for, and you go with that. There's no backup to the backup.
Right. And then there's obviously those 1 or 2 teams that you'll always cheer against. And whoever's playing against them are your teams for the temporary time.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's it.
I couldn't be more of a Jazz fan right now.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, could I coax myself into cheering for the Habs? Because if I start cheering for them, it's certain elimination for them based on the way the first 2 rounds have gone.
I'm dead.
So I guess I'll leave off NHL by saying, go Knights. The Knights are going to do it this year. They're going all the way this year. I know they will. Guarantee it. I'm giving my Charles Barkley. Guarantee it.
Oh, that's terrible.
And now we wait.
That is straight terrible. You want to know what else is terrible?
I don't, but I think you're going to tell me.
The Kansas City Royals right now. They're so bad. This road trip has just been horrible. They need to come home because this is not happening.
And now they're home. We're still terrible.
Well, I guess we lost today, but goodness. We went 1-6 last week. That is almost as bad as it gets there. Royals are slowly spiraling out of control. They're locked in the 3rd place right now in the AL Central. But lo and behold, here come the Detroit Tigers. All of a sudden, not trying to make some noise. The Twins are horrible. So the Royals have fallen back. So we have got to figure this out. Pitching has been questionable. Hitting has been very questionable when we need it. I don't know what's going on with them. They've got to kick it back into gear. If we're going to get to my prediction, which is 80 wins, that's not looking too hot right now. We got to.
Yeah, I think a cool 70 was like.
I still think we can get to 70. We can get over 70, but
yeah,
right.
And
now,
look, this is
not looking good.
This is indicative of the Royals season. You know, we're really just at Worlds of Fun in baseball form. You know, because you'll ride it all the way to the top. Remember, at the end of May, we had the best record in all of the American League. You just ride it to the top. Start losing series to the Tigers, to the Angels. You know, it's just going down the Mamba. Pretty soon, I would assume midseason, we'll get on the Patriot. They'll just be jerking us side to side. You know, we'll win one game 13-2. We'll come back. We'll lose 14-0 the next day. No consistency whatsoever. That's baseball, baby, especially for a team like us. You know, that has talent, but we're still young. We not all of the guys know about winning. Some of the guys have been in World Series and won them. You know, so it's an interesting mix on the team. You're going to go through ups and downs, especially with as much roster turnover. A manager who, you know, fairly new with all of his guys. We're going to have these up and down moments throughout the season. But yeah, this is a very down moment, and it's making me pretty upset.
Well, it's very bad. But if we're going to be using Worlds of Fun references, which, you know, once we get off the Patriot, hopefully, and we're on the ground level, hopefully we can ride the detonator, take it straight up. That's all we can hope for. I hope we get stuck there, because what happens with the detonator, you just skyrocket back down. So hopefully we just go up and get stuck. Not that would ever happen. We ain't trying to get sued by Worlds of Fun. We think your rides are great. We never.
Yeah, we love Worlds of Fun. Much better than St. Louis Six Flags.
Not even I can go that far, but sure, Casey over St. Louis. Six Flags is incredible. I can't even lie about that.
I've actually never been to St. Louis Six Flags. True confession right now.
Okay, well, I've never been to theirs, I guess. I've been to Six Flags in San Antonio.
Well, everything's bigger in Texas, so you can't count that.
All right, fair enough. Maybe so. Maybe Worlds of Fun is still better than Six Flags. I've never been to the St. Louis one yet. Well, we're making a trip soon, so maybe we'll have to go.
Perhaps. Yeah, and speaking of where we're going, the St. Louis Cardinals, I love bringing them up around this time, because it wasn't too long ago that Connor was up in our face about where the Cubs were, where the Cardinals were. You know, the Cardinals, they hit a walk-off home run tonight. They're over 500. They are a game over 500. The Cubs, I believe they are, let me check. Yes, 9 games over 500.
10. 10
So
games
things
500.
things are looking good for in that division right now. It's exactly what we wanted, exactly how we predicted it to go during the season.
And how about the Reds? The Reds have jumped the Cardinals.
Yeah, what's up with that? The Reds just, well, you know why? It's because they got to play the Cardinals. 4-game sweep of them.
Oh, burn.
Yeah. Now we're talking a lot of mess. We better hope the Tigers don't do that to us.
That would be
But yes, the Reds, very nice. The Reds actually have 2 outfielders that lead their all-star voting right now, which brings up a good point. All-star voting is out. So whoever you are a fan of, go out, vote for your guys, right? I know a lot of the annoying Padres fans are going to vote for every player on the Padres to go.
Diego.
There's a lot of them who deserve it. There's a lot of them who will get a lot of votes that don't deserve it. So go out there, make sure the All-Star game is not all Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, and Padres.
Anyone but the Astros.
Yes, don't vote Astros. I can go back and look again. I don't think any Astros were leading their position groups in terms of votes, which is a very good thing. They don't deserve it. So one of them is going to get nominated. That's how the MLB works. There's an all-star from every team. But as few Astros as possible is a good thing in my book.
I 100% agree. Another team that doesn't deserve any all-star votes besides one player, that's the New York Yankees. And that one player is Aaron Judge, who leads the late Yankees in like every statistic. And he's
Hey, Garrett Cole could go.
Oh, okay, that's true. Let me not shame Garrett Cole. Everybody else is just horrible. I'm talking mad crap on them as they just won, but and actually that win moved us up to 3rd in the AL East. So, but we're still 8 games back from the Rays, 6 back behind the Red Sox. Just unacceptable from the Yankees right now. This is just bad. This is bad baseball by us right now. They poor combination. We're 4 games out of the playoffs right now, so we really got to kick that into gear. Still, again, it's early. I'm the opposite of Connor. I'm really down on my team when it's still early. Connor was singing his praises 15 games into a 162 game season. So, and look at him now. So, I'm down, but we'll be okay. We'll be all right. We'll kick it into gear. I have faith.
Yep.
Maybe not, since they're banning foreign substances. I don't know. Maybe that's going to hurt all pitchers, including yours.
That's true. This is true. He's actually on the IL now, so he won't be pitching for a while.
Yeah, he's actually matter. He's big.
Yeah, actually hurt. Cool moment for the Yankees, though, tonight. You talked about the win. Chris Gittins hit his first home run for the Yankees. Pretty cool moment as a fan, ran across the highway to go get the ball. So,
oh gosh.
Yeah, hitting the ball out to the highway. Pretty neat stuff there for the Yankees tonight. As you can see, before we move on, I have my Diamondbacks hat on. They've lost.
They're the worst team.
I think they've lost 1 million road games in a row. I'm not sure if the math is right.
I know they've lost 11 in a row, period.
Oh, yeah, they're on an 11-game losing streak. I think their road losing streak is up over 20 now. As I wear this hat and speak to you currently, they're going into the 8th inning on the road, up by 3 runs against the Giants.
The best team in their division right now.
Fingers crossed. The Diamondbacks will snap it while I've got this hat on. I'll give you guys an update closer to final thoughts on what exactly transpires in that game. But
they are 9-28 on the road this season. That is so bad.
You want to hear something worse? They were 9-8. They were 9-8 on the road at one point. They've lost 20 in a row now.
The Colorado Rockies are 5-27 on the road. 5
teams out west just can't travel.
No, that is so bad. That is so bad.
You hate to see it.
Yeah, really do. They need to kick it into gear. Things that you hate to see, I'm sure you're hating to see, is switching over to the NFL. Your boy Stephon Gilmore not showing up to minicamp. The 31-year-old quarterback's on the final year of his deal with the team, and sounds like he is not happy with his current situation. He's got dudes like DeAndre Hopkins posting on Instagram trying to recruit him over to the Cardinals. This man, DeAndre Hopkins, has tried to recruit every single free agent. This man always has a post with somebody talking about, come on over, man, it'll be a good time. Dude, he's the best thing that ever could have happened to him was getting traded for a second-round pick. This man has been thriving in life ever since then. But yeah, but the moral of the story, Stephon Gilmore not too happy with the Patriots. I don't know if he just wanted more money, just flat out didn't want to be at the team. But the Patriots are going to have to figure something out as he is not showing up to camp. Jaguars rookie quarterback Trevor Lawrence, he is currently unable to go 100% at practice. He did have surgery on his non-throwing shoulder, so they're currently monitoring that, trying to keep him as healthy as possible. For Connor's ex of a team, Donnell Hunter is expected to be at minicamps after he lost part of his season in 2020. He sat out with a herniated disc. So we'll have to see how he will respond to that. And of course, they also signed Sheldon Richardson this past offseason. So
Mizzou made
at least got some help on the defensive line for the Jaguars there. And then one last thing for mini camps. Apparently, Tua is not doing too well. He threw several interceptions during practice. And I don't know if that spiraled to Xavier Howard. He's like, this dude's throwing so many interceptions. I don't even show up to camp. But their star cornerback is also not coming to camp. So I don't know what's going on. But Tua's got to get it together. And they've got to get probably arguably their best defensive player in camp. So maybe some struggles going on in Miami. But I think the main thing, so that's just a little recap what's going on around the NFL. I think the main thing I want to talk about for the NFL is the horrendous, the stupidity, the ridiculousness, the tenacity. Kind of sound like Stephen A. Smith.
The unmitigated gall.
The unmitigated gall of LeVeon Bell coming at Big Red. How dare you? What? He should have been what is you doing? But I knew we were going to talk about this. This man came out and said that he wishes that he would never play for Andy Reid ever again and would rather retire than play for the man who's just coached the Kansas City Chiefs to 2 consecutive Super Bowls. Unreal. I've talked enough. I'm going to just let you dissect this. I have nothing to say to this.
This is a classic case of a guy with a huge ego who was at the top of his field. Now he's lower than the plains on the Serengeti in terms of where his career path has taken him. And he's looking for it's like Tyrann Mathieu said on Twitter. He is looking for somebody to blame for him not being successful. And you had a good excuse in New York because you had Adam Gase. You had no offensive line. Becton wasn't there yet. So in New York, you might have had an excuse. You came to Kansas City. He took you to the only Super Bowl you've ever been to. You weren't as good as the rookie running back they had because
he was hurt.
As good, you would have played. Right, he was hurt. If you were as good, you would have played. It's not that you didn't fit the system. You claimed to be basically a receiver out there anyway, running the routes with the hands and all. That was his big thing before everybody became good at it. And he didn't fit. And that's on him. That's not a system thing. That's on him. If you're better, you would have played. Nobody is more offensively innovative than Andy Reid, who can turn the average player into a good player, can turn good players into great ones. So I have a news flash for Le'Veon Bell. Maybe you're just not good anymore. And I hate to say it, talent goes quick from running backs. It's not like other positions. You can be great 1 year as a running back. All of a sudden, you're on. Oh, look at this. Another downhill slope by me.
Todd Gurley.
Exactly. Look at where Todd Gurley was at. Todd Gurley was, I think he was getting MVP votes, right? Like 3 seasons ago.
Yeah.
And this man now is sort of an afterthought on a Falcons offense.
He's not on the Falcons. He's unemployed. He's not on the Falcons.
Oh, he's not even on the Falcons anymore.
They cut him.
Wow. See, I didn't even know that.
He is
because running back is just one of those positions. So for LeVeon Bell, probably shouldn't have shared it, even if it was true. Even if he said, "Well, I don't want to play for Andy because he didn't play me. He didn't give me the touches." Whatever it was, probably should have kept it to yourself. Huge turnoff, I think, for the other 31 teams as well. I mean, why would they bring this dude into the locker room, especially performing the way you did on teams that had as much talent like Kansas City as they did? You would have liked to show something on the field. Now you're showing even less off of the field. I don't know who signs this dude. Probably somebody desperate like the Lions or something. Have fun up there.
No, they don't need to be doing that. They don't need to be doing that. They have a young running back, and he's actually pretty good. So they need to don't poison that.
Yep, I agree. I don't think anybody should sign him, to be real with you.
Maybe. No, I was just about to say maybe the Eagles because they need help too, but I don't want that. If he's going to be acting like that, I don't want him in the locker room. So, because I still think he has a little in the tank. I mean, he's still pretty good, but yeah, if you're going to be making comments like that, you got to go.
And before we go, Stephon Gilmore, you should definitely, I don't know if you're listening. I highly doubt it. You're going to have everybody calling your phone, hitting your lineup pretty soon. But if this somehow makes it to you, go back to New England. All right. I know it wasn't very fun last year, but we got some guys on offense this year. It's going to be better. Maybe we'll give you some help even on the offensive side of the ball. New England would be fun again. You know, I think it's looking a lot better than it did going into last year. He's in a little bit of a dispute because we paid all the money up front, right? So this year he's only going to make $7 million, and his contract ends. He's going to be 32 years old, and he's saying, you know, I've kind of done a whole lot for this team, and he has great postseason performances, defensive player of the year. He's done a bunch for us. I get it. He wants to get paid. He wants to make sure he gets paid. So I definitely get it because he's not going to be making that much this year. But if he leaves, it will be a very, very sad day for me, as I have sang this man's praises for a very long time now. Really, since day one that he signed with New England, they've probably been tired of me talking about him. And if he leaves to go join Jalen Ramsey, who's been recruiting him on that team, or he leaves to go join, I mean, the Cardinals would be probably the best option. But man, would be a very, very unfortunate day for myself.
Hey, if he wants, the door is always open for New England 2.0, which is Mike Vrabel and company. So,
yeah, well, the last one who went there didn't work out very well for him. So,
but Logan Ryan was great.
Okay, the first one who went there, Malcolm Butler, who's no longer with him.
Oh no, he had to go. But Logan Ryan was fine. I don't know why we didn't want to pay him. I guess he was asking for too much money.
Yeah. So I don't know. And not showing up to minicamps usually over a contract dispute or whatever usually gets settled before the season starts. I think
that man behind me sat out and got it'll be all right.
Right. I think
99 sat out and he was just fine.
Yeah. And sitting out the minicamps when you're an established player, top of the top level, I don't think it's going to affect you quite as much as, say, a second-year cornerback sits out asking for more. You know,
all right.
That's a bad look. Like when you're at the top of your field, you can kind of get away with some of this stuff. So
3 years in, Zeke did it and got his money.
He did, and I think the Cowboys regret that in hindsight. But well, anybody who's not a Cowboys fan loves it. You say as wearing the stars. But I'm confident that Stephon Gilmore will be on the Patriots week 1. He'll be playing for us. I'm confident he'll be playing well, and we are definitely going to need it.
Yeah. That is for sure. That goes without saying. One thing we definitely wanted to put in here for this week, as it just got started, it was supposed to get going last year. So when we started this podcast, this is when this was supposed to be going on. The Euro 2020s, now in 2021. I'm sure for licensing and contract obligations, they have to call it Euro 2020. But yeah, it's supposed to be every 4 years. But the Euros have begun. Obviously, getting over to the soccer now. Everyone has played a game. ESPN really does this kind of weird. So I'm just going to break it down by the table because they kind of skitter this weird. So in Group A, you had Italy. They won their game over Turkey 3-0 to get things kicked off in the entire tournament, with Wales and Switzerland tying. The team I am rooting for, I'm going for Belgium. I want them to take it home. I like some of their players, and they've been borderline. They were so close 4 years ago. They were in the semifinals and lost. And then in the World Cup in 2018, they were the third place team. They lost again in the semifinals to go to the championship. So I think this is finally the year they break through. One of my favorite players, Kevin De Bruyne, plays for them. So I'm rooting for them. They're in Group B. They currently lead after their victory over Russia. And they are also deadlocked with Finland, who took down Denmark. Also, big shout out to Christian Eriksen. I don't know if you guys have heard. Obviously, he collapsed in the middle of playing their game last week. Was on the field, I think they said unconscious for about 20 minutes or so. They were finally able to basically kind of revive his heart live on the field and transport him to the nearest hospital, where he's doing a lot better now. So definitely prayers for him and his family. Glad that he was able to, one, be breathing, two, to be able to respond and talk and be with his teammates, or at least communicate with his teammates. So I'm glad they were able to finish the game. I disagree with the decision to make them finish the game the same day, but nonetheless, I'm glad they were able to get the game in. So more on that later. But just to kind of round out everything else for just the main teams, as you hear all the time, England, of course, the team Toby's going for, they are sharing the top spot of Group D with the Czech Republic. As both of those, they both got wins. England beating Croatia, the team that was the runner-up in the last World Cup, and then the Czech Republic beating Scotland. Spain, a normal powerhouse, they drew with Sweden, so that was very unconventional for them. They were looking to take the full 3 points there. Currently, Slovakia leads that group. That is so random. And then in Group F, which is the group of death, Portugal getting a big win today over Hungary. Big time contribution from Cristiano Ronaldo with his brace, and they win in that game 3-0. And then France getting a win over Germany by an own goal was the only thing that separated those two teams. So those are just a little updates for the powerhouse. Anybody else you're rooting for? Anything else you want to add before we move on from the Euros? I know this is a little different from what we normally do here.
It is, and there's a whole lot to cover. Really, you could say something about every game.
Yeah.
But Cristiano Ronaldo, I know the tournament is very, very young. The Euros have not been going on quite like the World Cup. But Cristiano Ronaldo, the Euro goal leader now, all time, as he scored 2 today. They were in danger of not even scoring in this game. Then they scored 3 goals in the final 6 minutes. So
that's how it goes.
Very good end to an otherwise very frustrating day for Portugal. Germany, France. I mean, Germany. I don't know what to say. You played them tough. France is the team that I feel like everybody kind of deep down thinks is going to win it. They're the most talented on paper. They're the reigning World Cup champions. They're just the best that there is right now. And the fact that Germany controlled possession, controlled the game, really is besides an own goal. I mean, it's good and bad. No creativity in the final third. But, I mean, you hung in there. You only lost by 1 in a group where goal differential is going to be the big thing.
Yeah.
If you're going to drop the game, better to do it 1-0 than 4-1 or 3-0 like Hungary.
And how this tournament works is the top 2 teams in each group advance. So there are, how many groups are there? I believe there's
6.
There's 6 groups. Yeah. 6 groups. So the top 12 teams, top 2 teams in each group. And then they take the 4 best third place teams. So and that's based on points and goal differential. So losing by a lot. So Hungary being down 3-0, pretty much, I mean, they were already in the group of death, but that pretty much doomed them. Because you already have 3 goals to make up, in addition to having the most points out of the third place teams. So, definitely how much you lose by, if you are going to lose, is definitely a huge incentive to continue to play, even if the game's kind of, out of hand, or you're probably not going to make up the goals. Continue to score and trying to score, or eliminate the other team from scoring more, is a huge incentive. And we've seen it because Portugal won the last one after being a third place team. They were, I think, the 4th third place team to get in and end up winning the entire tournament. So we literally have seen it work. And so, yeah, that's definitely a huge addition that they added just last tournament. So, yeah, definitely look out for that. So if you're in third, you're not doomed, but you need to have a decent amount of points, and you can't be getting killed out there like Hungary did today. So, but yeah, that'll end it for our Euro talk. Quick little shout out over to what's going on in Copa America. My boy, Lionel Messi, he's, again, I mean, new tournament, same thing. Argentina, all talent all over the place, can't get it done. They're only 1 game in, but they drew with Chile in their group. And, I mean, we'll see how things go there. I have zero faith in them. I think they'll make it out of their group. But other than that, honestly, what Argentina will do is probably make the final and then lose. That's what they normally do. So they'll get them there and then they'll take off. So they'll stop playing well. But we'll see. It hasn't happened yet, so we got to give them time first.
Right.
Let me not murder them yet. They only played 1 game, and Chile is actually pretty good, so it wasn't like they played a scrub.
Yeah, I think they did play the 3rd best team in their group to start, so they got one of those out of the way. Yeah. The teams that I'm cheering for, I picked 2 Copa teams to cheer for. One that's, an actual threat to win it, and one that's probably not a threat to win it, but is there and having fun. Uruguay and Peru not gotten started yet. Brazil, they're the other big horse, the big front runner in Copa. They demolished Venezuela 3-0. I do not see them having any problems in their group whatsoever. Maybe Colombia. But they moved this tournament from Argentina to Brazil because Argentina was still having some COVID issues. So they've moved this tournament. And if it comes down, and I don't know how it doesn't come down to this more often, I always feel like it's somebody random in either Brazil or Argentina. But if this year it comes down to Brazil and Argentina, be ready for some more fan what is you doings and Creed moments on the podcast. Yeah. If those 2 teams happen to meet for the title down there after Argentina was stripped of the chance to host and it was given to Brazil, who is 1 country away and their biggest rival.
Yeah, countries that are not big fans of each other, at least soccer wise.
Probably beyond soccer too. Yeah. I don't want to speak for them, but like,
I'd imagine so.
I'd have to imagine that there's a lot of just general, I've got beef with that guy. It's like us cheering against the Canadian teams in the NHL. It's like, can't stand those guys.
Well, right now, if we're keeping in terms of soccer, Mexico, based on how they acted.
Oh, well, yeah, Mexico. Yeah, and I guess we do have, not our people, but our leaders, I guess, have some ongoing troubles with them.
Yeah.
Political we're not getting into that.
No.
Our beef is best saved with hockey and Miracle on Ice. We don't like the Soviet Union. R.I.P. to them. We're not about the politics over here. If a miracle type situation does occur, we'll be on it, but from the lens of sports, not from the lens of politics.
Well summed up. All right. So again, we introduced this segment last week. It's titled Rapid Fire Takes, where we're going to give ourselves 3 minutes and 30 seconds to kind of break down a number of different leagues in sports across the globe. So just give you a quick update of what's going on. We were just shy of it last time. We were about 4 minutes. We're trying to do it in 3.5. There's only 2 of us, so I think we can actually get this done this time. But yeah, here we go. I am going to get us started. So I'm going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So for our first rapid fire take, I want to give a little heads up. So the NCAA has now said that they will go from 4 teams to 12 starting in the year 2023. Obviously, a lot of people were asking for more teams, as we felt 4 was just not enough. Now I think we've gone on the complete other side of the spectrum. Now there's too many damn teams. Why is there 12? We didn't ask for 12. We asked for 8 or 6, maybe even 10 at the most. Why are there 12? The college football playoff completely dropped the ball on this again. I'd honestly rather have 4 than 12. I think it's stupid, but that is coming in the year 2023.
Something that came up this last weekend, UFC 263, Montae's guy, Israel Adesanya, defended his middleweight championship over Marvin Vettori. Some people thought it was a little bit boring. Just a smart fight by Izzy. The Italian was nowhere near beating him in any round. Very convincing win. Another title changed hands. Brandon Moreno became Mexico's first UFC champion, submitting Davison Figueiredo in the flyweight division. So huge congrats to him. I couldn't tell what he was saying at the end of the interview. He was very excited. It was really fun to watch. He was extremely hyped up, and I'm happy for him. And that's all I'm going to say. We're not talking about TikTokers versus YouTubers boxing. Shakur Stevenson, he claimed a title this weekend in boxing. That's real boxing. No more of this TikToker boxing stuff.
Yep. In tennis, my guy, I guess here's a win for Connor. His man, Novak Djokovic, was able to bring it home. He did win the French Open he beat my guy, Rafael Nadal, in the semifinals and went on to win against a guy whose name I'm not going to even attempt to try. Stefanos, I think is his first name. After
Tsitsipas.
Yeah, that. Tsitsipas. Yeah, sure. He beat that guy 3-2 in the finals, so congrats to him. He stopped Nadal from breaking the record for most ever French Open wins, so that sucks for Nadal, but Djokovic has been the top dog for a while now, so he's adding on to his list there. And yeah, that'll do it for tennis.
Golf this weekend, another major tournament, the U.S. Open. It's the first tournament that these guys will be playing in since the famous golf internet beef between Brooks Koepka and Brooksy DeChambeau. Of course, these guys were not paired with each other, as golf is a gentleman's sport. They didn't want haymakers thrown on the greens or on the tee box for the whole world to see. I get why they did it. There's going to be no denying the group pairing if both of these guys are leading going into the weekend. I am cheering for both Brooks and Bryson to have phenomenal first 2 days. So we see those two paired up. Going to be must-watch TV, must-watch golf. Got to have that at some point. We're all trying to get better. Watching these guys play, got to make us better. And seeing the chirping, it's the match before the match.
Yeah, no, gotta love that. MLS still very early on in the season. Of course, we want to keep updated what's going on in Kansas City. Our Sporting Kansas City is currently in second place in the Western Conference. Now, there are still 2 undefeated teams left with the Seattle Sounders and Nashville. Nashville out here has not lost a single game yet. So big shout out to them.
Yes, Nashville, however, in 7th place, because while they're not losing, they're not exactly winning either. 5 draws to 2 wins. But teams that were winning, NCAA baseball tournament continued. The College World Series coming up. This is every amateur baseball player's dream to play in this one. The number 1 team in the country upset at home after winning their first game by 19 runs. NC State going to advance. They'll take on Stanford, who won in Lubbock this weekend. Arizona and Vanderbilt, the top seeds in their regions, going to advance. Vanderbilt, of course, the reigning champions, who broke my heart. Number 2, Texas Longhorns advancing to play Mississippi State, the top 2 seeded teams where they're at. Going to be a clash of big-time baseball fan bases. Virginia, they knocked out the little guy, Dallas Baptist. They had an average class size of 13 at DBU, which is roughly my middle school. So thanks to Virginia for ruining my middle school's hopes and dreams. Tennessee, they advanced to the College World Series for the first time in 16 years after taking down baseball powerhouse and SEC rival LSU. I will be there this weekend in Omaha for the start of the tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun. It always is. Great time, party culture down there. To the Mississippi State fans, hail dogs. Those are my guys down there. Hail State, Mississippi State fans. I can't wait to tailgate with you guys again. It's going to be a great time.
And that will do it. We were way off. I hope you know that.
We tried to cover a lot.
Yeah, that was more than last week, but that was we were like 5 minutes and 15 seconds. So not what we wanted. We failed. We're gonna get better at it though. We're gonna get better at it. We're gonna try to knock it out. Maybe I need to extend it to 4 minutes or something. If we're gonna be doing all these, but I think that overall though, I still think that was a good rundown. We just covered what was that? 6 sports. We did 3 apiece. We just covered.
We're keeping you guys in the know without boring you. That's the big point.
That is, yes. We just gave you 6 sports in 5 minutes, and you know exactly what's going on with all of them. So that's the main idea.
Before we move on, I gotta know, because you're an SEC guy, but these aren't your typical SEC teams that you usually like to cheer for. Vanderbilt, the nerd school. Tennessee, obviously one of Florida's biggest rivals, and Mizzou for some reason. Can't stand Tennessee either. Mississippi State. Are they your guys?
Yes, 100%.
You're all on.
I don't mind if Vanderbilt wins. I don't mind it. Tennessee, no. It's so weird. I don't mind Tennessee professional sports, but that school can rot.
Ooh, some choice words there.
I said it, and I'm live, not live, but we're on the internet. That school can rot.
He's not a Phil Fulmer fan, everybody. He didn't like Peyton Manning when he went there. He didn't like Arian Foster.
I wasn't even alive. Peyton Manning was there.
But if Peyton Manning was alive, I mean, if Gannon was alive, if Gannon was alive when Peyton Manning was there, he would not have thought the same of him, especially going Tennessee to the Colts. You would have been.
Yeah, no, that would not have flown at all.
He just missed that spot in history where he would have had to dislike Peyton.
Yeah. That would not have been okay. But yeah, no, go Dogs. I can go with the Dogs.
I'd like to see NC State play the Dogs, the team that took down the SEC champs, playing another SEC team for the championship. The most fun SEC team for the championship.
I can also tell you this: I wasn't rooting for Arkansas either. So,
ooh, a Mizzou guy. He's Mizzou made, people. They're not cheering for Arkansas, and neither was I. Although, shout out Christian Franklin, that's a Rockers guy. 5 kids from Kansas City on the team for Arkansas. So, you hate to see it end like that, but new life in the tournament.
Yeah, I'll be all right. I'll be cool.
Yeah, we're good.
Well, that will lead us over into the Welcome to Your Creed moment, my personal favorite segment. There are too many people out here acting like our other co-host, Connor Evan. He's doing too much. We need him on the show because this is his segment, and yeah, he's out here doing whatever creeds do out here. So I think he officially moved from Arizona now. So he's officially back in KC. Who knows where the heck he's at, but you have a creed of the week?
I do. I actually have 2, and I'm glad you brought up Arizona Arizona. As you heard earlier, I was wearing the Diamondbacks hat, as you can see right here. I told you about how they were up by 3 runs going into the 8th inning.
No.
Well, the 8th inning has ended. The Diamondbacks have allowed a grand slam, and they trail. And they trail by 1 run going into the 9th inning.
Oh my God.
So we've got a little bit of a Creed moment brewing in Arizona, his former home state.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I thought this hat was going to bring him luck or something, but maybe another day.
A grand slam after what we just talked about.
A grand slam to Mike Yastrzemski. Yes, sir. Yep. And so not looking good there. My other Creed of the week is going to come actually from the YouTubers versus TikTokers boxing match. And it comes from a guy named Bryce Hall. And some of you might know him. There's others of you who are probably more mature than myself and don't know who that is. Bryce Hall, he's a lot like Connor in several ways. Number one, he's recently going through a breakup that had him in shambles. And I hate to say it for my guy Connor, but this will be a good way. This will be a good way for me to know if he's listening or not to our podcast by bringing that up. He's a guy who's gone through a big time breakup, just very down on himself, right? He was using this moment to get himself hyped back up. He's going to use this boxing match. He had gone into the fights. He talked all this about, I believe I'm the best fighter on the card because I'm the only one that's actually a fighter. I've been in 40 confirmed street fights. Talking all this. Yeah, obviously no way. Obviously not true. He went out. He got knocked out by a guy who makes YouTube videos for families. It's like a family style YouTuber. He has his family come and act in videos. He got knocked out by this guy, put to sleep. After the fight, the Creed moment occurred where he goes, yeah, well, I'm not a boxer. I've never claimed to be a boxer or a fighter. And it's like, hey, buddy, your entire platform was built on how you were the best because you were the only one that's actually fought.
Yeah.
Then when you lost, no, never said that. Yeah. I've never said I was a fighter. It's when Connor, he loses an argument, he gets called on it. Oh, I never said the Bears were going to rest their starters. I'd never once said that Luigi was everybody's favorite and found a forum on it. Nope.
I found a forum.
Nope. It's a classic lawyer move that Connor's learned what previous to law school and now is probably perfected, where it's just deny. And Bryce Hall went on and he denied all the comments that he previously made in the ring right after he lost. And maybe it's because he got his bell rung and he forgot all of that mess that he'd been talking. But I'd like to think that he just used it to give us this Creed moment for this week.
Well, thank you to him. My Creed moment, man, the NBA can't catch a break. My Creed moment goes to a set of NBA fans, and more specifically Denver Nugget fans, who got absolutely destroyed by one Suns fan. Just rocked this. So they were like yelling at this guy. This guy's going off. Suns in 4. Keep in mind, this is in game 3. This is not even the game that they got swept in. It was game 3, and they're way at the top. You can see them, and they're like picking beef with this dude. He's yelling or whatever, and they start to swing on him. Keep in mind, they're above this guy, swinging and missing. And the guy's still just talking, like in the middle of the fight. He's like yelling at everyone else. And then this one dude tries to like sucker punch him when he's not paying attention and whiffs. And the guy just goes to town on him, breaks his nose. The dude's just like sitting there. He's like grabbing the guy by like the back of his shirt, talking his mess. Suns in 4. While the guy's just like sitting there, hands over the rail, just like his nose is broke. He's jacked up until he's bleeding. Just a horrible scene. As your team is literally live while this is going on, their team's getting whooped by the Suns in Denver so bad. And this is a Creed moment because I could 100% see something like this happen with Connor. because he's trying to be so non-confrontational, and then you say something about his teams, and he'll just all of a sudden flip that switch, just like that guy tried to sucker punch that dude, and then he got beat up. Oh my god, no. That was such a Hoosier thing to do. Such a Hoosier. Such a Hoosier. So that was a little bit of a what is you doing / Creed moment, because I definitely could see Connor being involved in something like that.
Oh, what? Yeah, 100%. I don't think he'd ever throw hands per se, but definitely talking that mess.
He would definitely talk back.
Definitely talking that mess, and then obviously not being able to back it up. A surefire Creed moment. All Nuggets fans down really horrendous. My buddy is Zach down horrendous right now with the Nugs. Man, Denver, they can't do nothing right. Montae would give his Creed moment to the Denver Enterprise. By the way, that's how where he is.
Oh no.
I made some great memes about that too. I think Montae enjoyed them.
Enterprise Rent-A-Car, what is he doing?
Got a message while he was on the plane landing. They didn't have cars for him. Monte's riding around the Denver bus station now, going station to station around the bus routes.
That's so tough.
That
is so tough.
Yeah. And the Diamondbacks have officially lost 21 in a row on the road now.
Gave up a grand slam.
I mean,
that is, you can't make this stuff up.
It truly is a pain, you know. I can't imagine being a Diamondbacks fan. We think the Royals are having it rough right now. I could not even imagine.
Says the guy with the Diamondback hat on.
This is a Ross find. Ross has some good stuff for very cheap. This is like $5. I had to make the move. It's my perfect.
You need to be sponsored by Ross. As much as you talk about Ross.
I like Ross. I almost bought a Serbia soccer jersey from there. Serbia. I think I'm actually going to buy the Switzerland one that I saw out there. There was a Rockets Eric Gordon jersey that was out there. Yeah, Eric Gordon. There's a Thunder Hamidou Diallo.
Eric Gordon. They said Aaron Gordon. I was like, excuse me?
No. Rockets Eric Gordon and Thunder Hamidou Diallo jerseys out at Ross right now. Giving them some free advertising. That's where I got my Vic Beasley Falcons jersey.
That should have been returned immediately. That dude is horrible. But good. Shout out Ross though. We do. I enjoy your store as well. Is that your final thought for this week?
Ending it on Ross. Yeah. Ross always coming out with the bangers. They love Barcelona at Ross. If you ever need a Barcelona shirt for some reason, like there's 8 of them at Ross at one time. You can always go up there, find those. But yeah, and they're comically oversized shoes. You just walk down the aisles, they've always got shoes that are size like 19 or 20. Like, who the hell is just walking around wearing these? Does Shaq come into Ross often?
In those commercials, he's always disguised, so maybe. How'd you know it was me?
Hey, what is that? Is that little Caesars employee just going into Ross again? What an inauspicious man.
Yeah.
He's just like us.
You know someone else who didn't fit, though? Did you see that boxing match where Lamar Odom was in? Oh, my. Like, bro, what was that? He is the only dude I know that's sagging. He is sagging in a boxing match. This dude is really sagging. He just absolutely going to. I don't even know the guy who was fighting. He was whooping that dude up. He was shoving that dude around. Like, there was one point he pushed him. He like shoved him with his gloves. Lamar Odom, who is on crack.
It's good to see him doing stuff, though, you know.
Yeah, he's out there. He's out there getting like, some exercise.
Yeah, it's better to see him in the public eye than to wonder, like, what might be going on.
It's better to see him in the boxing room than on the Knicks. Oh man, that's so bad.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
so
he did. He whooped Aaron Carter though. That was, I mean, who set that up?
And why is he fighting? Why? Why is Lamar Odom fighting? That's so
I just
horrible. But I think that'll do it. Thank you guys for listening. That's such a way to what a way to end. Lamar Odom. Well, thank you guys for listening. Of course, again, major shout out to the Sports Resort, everybody who's been involved, supporting us, helping us get this started. From the logo to our new animation on YouTube, to the music, to everything, everybody who's helped us out. We're a year into this thing. We hope for many, many years more. We want to continue to grow this. So again, if you haven't already, take some time. It's free. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the share button. It's free. You don't have to pay us dime. If you're listening to it via Spotify or Apple Podcasts, stop what you're doing, pause the video, go to YouTube, look us up there, subscribe, and like the video. Please, please, and please, and thank you. So please do.
We'll know if you don't.
We will.
It will come for you.
Well, I'm not doing all that, but
I have your addresses.
all right. See, now this is a great point. We need to end the show. Now Toby's doing too much at the end. So thank you guys. That'll do it for episode number 43. You guys have a great one.